mean to build a legacy on your own terms? Hi, I'm Tanya Hendricks, and welcome back to Legacy Her Way, the podcast where we explore how women are creating powerful personal legacies through family, faith, business, community, and beyond. From foster moms to founders, creatives to caregivers, we go beyond the buzzwords and talk about the real life, real impact, and the values that guide it all. Now, whether you're building wealth, raising kids, or launching your next big thing, this space is for you. Now, this episode is sponsored by Huntsville Estate Planning Lawyer, where we empower your vision and secure your future through trademarks and copyrights. So let's talk legacy, her way, your way. Today's guest is someone who is building her legacy and helping other business owners build theirs. Sabrina Helm is the founder of Rocket City Digital Marketing, a boutique agency that helps bold, creative businesses grow through high impact websites, social media strategy, and smart digital marketing. With over 16 years of experience and a background in entrepreneurship, she specializes in helping service based and lifestyle brands attract high end clientele. Sabrina believes great marketing should feel like magic, but it's always backed by strategy. So, welcome to the show, Sabrina. I'm excited for you to join me.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Well, let's talk about you a little bit because I want the audience to know Sabrina as, Sabrina Helm, the person, not yet Sabrina, the entrepreneur and the person who builds these bold, helps these businesses build bold, creative websites and social media posts. So, first of all, let's tell the audience a little bit about you.
Okay, so I get this question a lot because I feel like I'm always the new kid on the block, and it's because I'm an army brat. So everywhere I go, like people are like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that questions because I've lived in like 28 addresses before I was 28 years old.
Oh, wow.
So it was a lot. And some of that was my fault. Not just the army that my dad was in, but once I graduated from high school, I became a wildlife biologist. So I traveled a lot to do my work,
Wow.
and um, so I did that for a while, and then a lot of what I worked with was in the summertime. So everything migrates or hibernates for winter. So I was like, I need something to do during the school year. And that's when I went into teaching because I love science so much. And I thought that would be easy. It is not easy, like at all. So by the time summer rolls around, I'm like, nobody talk to me. I need 2 months away from all my teacher friends. I love you, but I need a break. And so yeah, then I got into that, and then I guess I'm kind of accidentally giving my business story, but
No, go right ahead.
and then as a teacher, when I started teaching, I remember my professors had websites that would have the notes and the links and things on it. So I was like, well, my students need that. So I learned how to build a website just because I felt like I needed one. And then my other teachers were like, oh, I want one. And I was like, okay, I'll build you one. And so I kept doing that. And then eventually someone was like, I'll pay you to build me one. And I was like, ooh,
Light bulb
I
moment.
could. Yes, it was like, okay, like, I mean, I like teaching, but I like money too, and you don't really get money with teaching. So I was like, every teacher I know has a side hustle. So that became mine. And then I just kind of kept pursuing it until eventually it became bigger and bigger. So, and hopefully really good. So,
Well, I think a lot of people, particularly in the Huntsville area where we are, will
Mhm,
appreciate that you're an Army brat because there are many people here who had that same history of being
mhm,
an Army brat, Navy brat, or in some form of the military growing up. But how? So you went into working with wildlife.
mhm,
Is there a connection between that job and doing that? Because I know you were passionate about that, and now you're
mhm,
building websites. I know you
mhm.
kind of just talked about that little leap, but is there a connection there?
Yeah, I think so. So with going into science, I was obsessed with, like, I just loved animals growing up, watching Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I wanted to be an environmentalist, like save animals, save the planet, that kind of thing. So that's why I ended up going into science. And I went into teaching kind of for the same thing because I wanted to share that love with them. And then I found that there were a lot of nonprofits that I worked with for a little while building websites, and
Mhm.
they don't have big budgets, but I had the skill, and there were projects I was passionate about. So I started to build them websites and do their social media, and eventually grew it into a business. So that's where how it started out. And now I'm hoping to build my business to the point where I can donate to those causes because money is always a weak area for them. So in
Yeah.
addition to any skills I may offer.
But you have to support yourself before you
Mhm.
can. really support others. We always hear that airplane analogy of when
Yeah.
you're taking off from the airplane, the stewardess or they're not called that anymore. Um, I can't remember what they're called
Oh,
now.
I'm blanking.
Flight attendant.
There
When the flight attendant says, "Put your mask on first before
Mhm,
you put the mask on the child or person that's sitting next to you that needs
mhm,
help," it sounds
mhm,
counterintuitive, but it's actually correct. You've got to,
mhm,
build yourself first and keep yourself afloat before you can help somebody else. So you're doing the right thing and working to build that business. So let's talk about building this digital marketing business. And you mentioned that you build websites, but you also help with social media strategy and
mhm,
just overall digital marketing.
mhm.
Talk about this journey that you're on right now to building your business.
Okay, so this this is where I struggle because I'm not an entrepreneur. Like I didn't go to school to be a business person, so this is
Mhm,
out of my wheelhouse as far as that goes. I know how to build the website, do the social media. Building the business has been a struggle for me because I didn't understand that part. So when I joined a BNI group and I started to learn how to network and do those sorts of things, I've been learning from everyone in there, which is really great.
mhm.
And I don't know if I lost track of my thought. Is this answering the question?
Yes.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
so you
Um,
started, I mean, you're in the midst of it and you realize that
mhm,
you have this passion, you love building websites, you're good at that, but I think a lot of entrepreneurs have probably encountered some of the same issues in that I wanna do this, I wanna build websites.
mhm.
I don't really wanna be a business owner, I don't want the business side of things because that's kinda
That's a whole
stressful.
'nother job. Yeah, or
Mhm,
a team of jobs. So
mhm,
it's gotten to the point where for a few things I've been able to outsource, which is fantastic. Like, I used to do my own taxes. I won't do my taxes anymore. I will pay someone else to do that, take that stress off my mind.
mhm,
Now I have time and energy to put toward my next project. And I think that's what I'm learning from some other people is that like you have to eventually take like just bite the bullet and outsource a few things so that you can free
mhm.
up yourself to be better at what you do. And so I'm taking those baby steps in those directions. Yeah.
So is that what has been and you probably have answered this a little bit, but what has been the most difficult part of this journey?
Ooh, maybe confidence, because it's not like people are banging down my door, right, to have
Mhm,
a website built. So you have to learn to network. You have to learn to be patient. Like, I don't know how many times I've had a phone call with a potential client and then I don't hear from them for 2 or 3 months. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay, I want a website now. In the
mhm,
meantime, you're like, oh my God, am I doing the right thing? Is this worth pursuing? And I think that's probably a question a lot of entrepreneurs have.
mhm,
And I keep seeing things about how, people who are successful are the ones that just keep going, keep trying. Don't just give up after the first or second hurdle, just
mhm,
keep going. And I feel like that's true though, because you'll have like a little while of a slow streak, and then all of a sudden, an amazing client comes in the door and makes everything better again.
mhm.
And so that's the stage I'm in right now.
Well, and I would encourage you to keep going and not quit. And
Mhm,
one of the things I've heard from, and I listen to a lot of podcasts and follow a lot of people on social media who are multi millionaires or even billionaires. They're killing it at business. And one of the things that I have heard from multiple people in that realm is that they just didn't quit. And
mhm,
most of the people who are the most successful are the ones who just did not quit, even in the
mhm,
face of the adversity, the rejections, the silence. They just didn't quit because you have this desire to succeed, whatever that success looks like to you. And I'll ask you that in a
mhm,
moment. But when we have that desire to succeed and we know that we know that we know this is what we're supposed to be doing, just don't
mhm.
quit. Just keep going. Keep fighting.
Yeah, I keep listening to podcasts like that because I need that reinforcement constantly. Like you just sometimes you just need to be told, just keep going, just keep going. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be like Dory, just keep going.
Yeah, and it's easy when you're because I'm building this law firm. I'm 3 years in, and there's still struggles. There's still things that we had to do, and some days I just wanna lay on the floor in the fetal position and cry and go, "I don't wanna do this anymore." But you just have to keep going. And so,
Mhm.
anyone who's out there listening who is kind of in that that position, you're going to have ups and downs in businesses. Just
Absolutely.
just keep going. Just keep
Just keep
going.
going. And then, there's another thing that maybe I should have mentioned it earlier. One of my biggest struggles is, um, I don't know how to say this nicely because I love my parents, but like my family,
Mhm.
because they've all been worker bees. Like dad was in the army, keep your head down, do a good job, and everything will be fine. My family does not. First off, they don't understand what I do with digital marketing because it looks like I'm playing on my phone all day. But second, they're like, just get a job. Like why? And I'm like, but I don't want to. I want to have a business. I want to be able to have the freedom to do the things that I want, to work wherever I want. I
Mhm.
work wherever my laptop is. So it's hard to kind of get over that part too, which is funny because I get more support from strangers than I do my family, but they just don't understand my family are not entrepreneurs. So
Uh-huh.
they just don't understand that.
Well, what has given you the courage to kind of pivot from what you've been raised with in your family
Mhm.
and kind of those expectations that your family has had for you? Not that they're bad, they want the
Mhm.
best for you,
Exactly. Yeah.
but it's not what their dream is for you is not your dream for you. So
Mhm.
what's given you that courage to kind of step out and stay strong in your commitment to your business?
Ooh, that is a good question. I have a couple people in my life who have been entrepreneurs. A couple were lawyers, so they had their own law firms,
Mhm.
and they're like, "Sabrina, you can do this." And I'm like, "I can." And they're like, "Yeah, you can do this. Like, you know how to do A, B, and C. Like, go out and do it." Like, okay. And then listening to some podcasts, and I think I've always just been adventurous. Being an army brat, we always moved. I mean, I might have been bummed out to leave friends behind when I was a kid, but I was always excited for a new place. Adventures is super important to me to keep life interesting and exciting. And I guess this is just another adventure. I mean, if all else fails, I'll get a job. you know, it'll be okay.
But you're not going to. We're believing that you're gonna, and we
Yeah.
do believe that you're gonna keep going. You're gonna have a very successful business. You do a great job with what you're
Mhm,
doing to help other businesses. So, let me ask you this: as you keep going, you're in a business where obviously you meet with the business owners, you help them develop a website or social media strategy or
mhm,
just overall digital marketing strategy. But the people who will be consuming that, you will never meet. So you won't ever know if I'm looking at a website or someone who is listening is looking at one of the websites you've built or a social media strategy that you've implemented for someone. How do you want your work to impact those people that you're never going to meet?
ooh, that's a good question. I don't know if I know how to answer this. I guess it depends on the website or, like, the account. So, because some of them are nonprofits, so obviously I want
Mhm,
them to be passionate about the project, donate, adopt an animal, whatever the case might be. Some of them are businesses, like a carpet cleaning company, so I guess I want them to have the cleanest, safest house.
mhm.
I'm not sure if I'm able to answer that, um, better. That's a good question. I might have to get back to you on that one.
Okay. Well, and I think knowing you a little bit, and knowing that you have a passion for helping nonprofits and a passion for helping or for science and working, going back to your days working with wildlife,
Mm,
I could see that you would want people to see a website and it be impactful on them, whether it's the carpet cleaning business or the nonprofit. It's a story as to that business or that nonprofit, and you would want it to I could see that you would maybe want it to have maybe an emotional impact on an emotional draw to that company. And that person looking at it could just go, "Wow, that's an amazing company," like you said, that you wanna work with, or
yeah.
"I wanna go adopt a dog or a cat from that place." So I could see that. I could see that.
Okay, I see what you're yeah, okay, I get the question now. I think I misunderstood or just couldn't connect the dots. Yeah, I mean, I want them to go to a website and go, "These people are legit." Like, they're good
Mhm,
at what they do, and this is a company that I want in my home or, servicing me the product I wanna buy, I can trust it. So, I really need websites. I really want to build websites that are, uh, what's the word? I guess trustworthy, but
mhm,
powerful?
mhm,
I want them to have a strong reaction to it because I
mhm,
won't work with a company that I don't feel like their product or service is good enough,
mhm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it needs to be, I need to be able to put my name behind it.
Mhm.
So,
And so That brings up another question, another good question. I think because you are putting your name behind a website and you're reflecting, your websites reflect the values of the company, obviously, or the nonprofit. But how does your business reflect your personal values?
My personal values. I am a stickler for honesty. So, being a scientist, I look at something and I don't put my emotions into it. It's like, it's what are the facts? Just the facts. So, if I'm going to build a website, it needs to be something whose product or service is true. So, if I think there's anything shady happening, I'm not going to be involved in it because it reflects back on me as well. So, I would definitely say that's a big part of it. I also like big ideas, people who also like adventure. So, if someone's going out on a limb for a new business or a new idea, and that's exciting, and I liked being part of that journey as well.
Mhm. How involved do you like to be? Do you want to be involved with the entire marketing strategy, or do you want someone to say, "This is what I want for my website," and then you create it?
Mhm. So the ones that are the most fun to do are the ones where they give me like their bullet point list of what they need, and then they let me be creative and have fun with it. And obviously, there's feedback back and forth to make sure that it's hitting the right points and that it resonates with my client. But yeah, give me some creative freedom. So I have an artistic side, but I also have the scientific side. So it's the perfect place for me to merge the two. So I mean, I don't want it to. I need guidance of some sort. I can't just make up a website if I don't know your business.
Mhm.
But as far as being able to have the creative aspect, like the freedom to build that, that's wonderful.
How did you then you I know you said you didn't go to school to build websites. So how did
Mhm,
you learn? Take us back to that when you were first learning to build a website. How did you learn that and in what time frame? Like
mhm.
were you up late at night? Were you up early in the morning? Did it take you a year to learn how to build websites? A week? Talk about that journey.
So, I mean, I guess I'm still learning how to build a website, but as far as the beginning went, like I graduated from high school in 2001. So the internet was still new, right? People were still learning how to build websites. I think MySpace wasn't even a thing yet. So the building of websites was still new to the average person. I'm not a coder. So
Mhm,
it took a while for me to find something where it was very drag and drop, which is if anyone's played with Canva, where you just, or PowerPoint, like oh, I like this picture, let me put it here.
mhm,
So I started out that way. And just learning new features every time. Like last night, I watched probably an hour worth of YouTube videos learning how to do a new feature on a website. So it's a constant thing. It's I don't sit down and think about, oh, I need to put in some like professional development today. It's like, oh, I wonder how to do this. Or as I'm scrolling through my feed, I'll see a video. And so it's just kind of been a constant thing. So when I started out as a teacher, because it was for my classroom, I could do it during the school day in my planning period.
mhm,
But clearly I worked more than that. I don't know any teacher who doesn't work, but like just bell to bell. It's like you're getting up early, you're staying up late. It's always happening. So um it's just a constant journey. Like it never really ended, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
mhm. Well, and I want to back up something you just said that you're still learning because I think we should all still be learning, regardless of where we're at in our careers. If we want to be better at what we're doing, we have to keep learning because we don't know it all. We have to keep
Mhm.
learning from other people. And especially with you working in technology, I mean, technology developed today is old. So things keep changing and
Mhm.
moving. What is your current definition of success?
Success. I've been thinking about that. What is my definition of success? I think I don't know if this is a definition or an example. I will know that I'm successful when I have the freedom to do what I want with my time. So work when I want to relax when I want to. That will be for me the ultimate success.
Mhm. You're still young and you're
Ish.
so I'm going to say to me, uh, so you're kind of you're pivoting, you're building this new business. Have you thought about your legacy? Have you given any thought to that in the past?
Yeah, so growing up, I remember seeing things on TV. My dad likes to watch a lot of documentaries, and we'll watch documentaries about like the 20s or the Gilded Age and how people would, buy or spend their money on big libraries or whatnot for the community. And I just always thought that was cool because I wanted to do something to give back to the community. And working with the environmental causes, no one's going to know it was me, but I did work with certain endangered species that are now no longer endangered. And so I know that, but no one else will probably know unless I go around bragging about it, but it was just my job at the time. So,
Mhm.
and the same thing with like teaching. You know, I have students that I'm still friends with today. Now they're 25, 30 years old, and they'll message me on Facebook or send me an email, and I'm like, I impacted that student. And so that's pretty cool. And at this point, now I'm trying to build a business so that I can have enough, I guess wealth is the right word, to be able to put money behind the causes that I like and be able to do it that way. So people who know me know what I care about, and I want that to live on in those people who know me.
That's awesome. And it's satisfying when you hear back from those students and you
Mhm,
know you've impacted someone's life. 'Cause as you mentioned, teaching is hard. There's a
mhm,
lot that goes into it, and I
mhm,
think all the teachers go into teaching hoping they get those students who can impact. And sometimes you not always can, but it's always good when you hear back from those students you did
mhm.
impact. So, and that's awesome that you worked with species that are no longer an endangered species. That is incredible. So, can you tell us which ones?
I mean, it's not like it's super top secret, but it was mostly fish, so I just don't
Okay.
think anyone's gonna care about species of fish. So I guess that made me technically a professional fisherman for a couple summers because I
Mhm.
worked in the river. But we were catching a fish that was landlocked and couldn't go to where it normally spawns its eggs because of a dam was in the way. So we'd bring them back to a hatchery, breed them, and then release them. And I only worked there for like a minute, but the team continued to work, and now it's no longer endangered. So that's pretty great.
That's awesome. You have an incredible legacy, and I think it's important to note here because this entire podcast is about building legacies and how women are building legacies. It's not just one thing. We can have multiple things and multiple impacts. And so you just demonstrated you've got multiple legacy building or legacy things that's happened in your past. Like you're now building websites for people that's building companies and their legacies, but you have impacted the environment, you have impacted nonprofits, and obviously students. So I think it's important to note that legacy is not just one thing, it can be multiple things. Um, so what I you kind of we've touched on this, and it may be the same answer as we've already talked about, but what is something that you had to let go of in order to build a better future? I know we talked about your
Mhm.
family's expectations, and maybe that's what it is, but if there's something else, mention that.
So I think I am passionate about so many things, and I think that's true for most people, but you can't do everything all at once. So sometimes it feels like I recently had to walk away from a nonprofit that I'm passionate about, but there's no hard feelings or anything. I just didn't have time. And it
Mhm,
comes down to I can either be spread really thin and do not a great job, or I can do a couple things really well. So that felt like a sacrifice. So, and it's hard. It's hard to pick which ones do you wanna keep going with and which ones not to, because I didn't give up on the cause. I just don't have the time to commit at the level I was.
mhm. Well, you've got a time constraint.
Mhm,
We as entrepreneurs every time we do one thing, we see that kind of so a lot of entrepreneurs have the shiny object problem where we see the next big thing and we wanna do that. But
mhm,
in order to build what we're building and need to build, we have to cut out some things. And it
mhm,
sounds like you've learned that lesson. It's difficult because it's not a bad thing. It's just not the thing that's gonna help you get to your goal. It's not helping you reach your goal, and so sometimes you have to cut those
mhm.
things out, um, unfortunately. If you could go back and give yourself advice about planning or protecting your legacy, say maybe going back, to when you started working with wildlife or even when you were teaching. If you go back
Mhm.
and give yourself advice about planning and protecting your legacy, what would you say?
Do it. Because there were so many things that I was afraid to do because I was like, "I don't think I'm ready. I don't know enough yet. I'm not good enough yet." And it turns out that no one is until you do it. So just go ahead and do it. It's scary, but that's the only way you grow and learn anyway. So I would have gotten to all my goals faster if I had not been in my own way.
Mhm. And I think many people are that way. We do get our own way. What was it that was keeping you? What were you getting in your own way about?
I'm super shy. I'm a very much an introvert, so joining a couple of these business networking groups, this is me going out on a limb. Like afterwards, I need a couple hours of quiet time just myself, which is why being behind a computer is great. Um, but it's the learning how to talk to people and like like this podcast right now is exciting, but it's also out of my comfort zone, so this is new for me, and you just have to kind of keep pushing it until feels comfortable, it feels normal.
Mhm,
Um, so yeah, just be getting over the shyness and being a more like believe in what you know. Like you know what you know, so you have to
mhm,
stand up for it. And
mhm.
I don't know if that was just being young and shy. Maybe there was an aspect of being a female because I the science world was a very male dominated world. Luckily, I grew up with brothers, so that didn't hold me back too much. Um, but you just have to believe in yourself and keep going.
Mhm. Did you believe you could figure things out?
Yes, always.
Mhm,
So I might fail a few times before I get there, but I don't ever see failure as a thing. If something's not working, pivot. It just wasn't the right thing for you. So, I mean, if I wanted to become a world-class chef and I can't taste food, that's probably not the right direction. So you need to
mhm,
pivot and do something different. So it wasn't failure, it just wasn't the right fit.
mhm. Very good. Very wise for a young person.
Oh, thank you. I don't know how young you think I am, but thank you.
So, if you could say one thing to women who are listening now, or one thing that you wish more women knew they could do, what would that be?
Well, I'm saying women, um, maybe trust each other. So when I go to women networking events, or even if it's all gender events, I find that other women, even if they're in the same field as me, are very supportive. I think we're just naturally built that way a lot. So if you just go introduce yourself to people, make friends in your area, outside of your area, because we all like to help each other.
Mhm,
And I guess be brave. There's help out there if you ask for it.
mhm. I like that you brought up number one, to be brave and to ask for the help, but two, that the women have been very encouraging to you, even those in your same field. I think there's a misconception out there that women are just really competitive with one another, and we get what people would say catty with one another, and that's just not the case. We really do support one another. That's been my experience. Sounds like that's been your experience as well.
Yeah, I mean, 99% of the time, like you're going to run into someone your just personalities just don't mesh with. And, like I said, pivot, move on to the next one because there's going to be
Mhm.
100 other women who are ready to help and support you.
Mhm. Have you had the chance to reach out to other people who are maybe a couple steps ahead of you in the digital marketing business and seek help and advice from or mentorship from?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have quite a few that I email and keep in touch with. We're all in very different fields. So the one that's probably been the most supportive to me, yeah, she's in the political world. So that's how I learned how to do a few things. And so I've taken what she's taught me and transferred it to the not to the for-profit world. And it's just there's so many groups online that you can be a part of and ask for things, and they could be total strangers, but I have a handful of people that I've been networking with since the beginning that have given me the confidence and they always have answers if I have a question.
Mhm. How important has that been to have that mentorship?
Oh, so much. Because otherwise you feel like you're all by yourself. So like I'm a team of one. I do have some people that I contract out to if I need something specialized that I don't know how to do or if I'm overwhelmed, but um absolutely. You need to have people that feel like they're on your team, whether they're in your business or not. They could just be friends, but you need someone who's like got your back
Mhm,
and that helps you feel more confident moving forward, at least for me.
mhm. Well, excuse me. How can people work with you? How can they find you?
Oh, so you can find me at rocketcitydigitalmarketing.com. I'm also on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn. So if you just put in Rocket City Digital Marketing, I'll pop up. There's another Sabrina Helm out there. She is a brilliant scientist, and I envy her. But if you just Google my name, you're going to find her, not me, and you'll know because she's blonde. So, and I'm brunette. Um, but yeah, so probably the website's best.
Well, we talked a lot about we got a few seconds left. we've talked mostly about your website development, but you also do social media and
Mhm.
social media strategy, overall marketing strategy. Tell us about the social media side and the strategy side.
Ooh, so I guess that depends on how you're looking at it. So social media versus strategy, because to me, they all kind of blend together. So are you thinking social media as far as graphics?
Yeah, so I mean,
Is that where your mind went?
yeah, I think I agree that that's all part of a strategy, but you also we've talked about you creating websites, but you also
Mhm,
create social media posts as well, and
mhm.
help that's part of the strategy of that digital marketing.
Yeah.
Do you work with companies only doing social media, or do you is it a combination of if they hire you to do the website, you also do the social media?
Ideally, I do both because then I know the entire digital strategy and I can make sure that each arm is doing what it needs to do. But I do have people who only want a website from me or who only want social media from me. And it's more of a challenge, but not the end of the world. So I see a website as a more professional projection of you and your business, and social media is like talking to your friend. Like it's social media, it's supposed to be social. So there's two very different vibes coming from that. And then it depends on the personality of your business. And then obviously both are there because you want to make money. You're in business. But the strategies are different for both platforms and just knowing the message that you're trying to get out and the vibe of your audience.
All right. Well, folks, if you want to work with Sabrina, I'll have her contact information in the show notes. So you can just click on the links in the show notes and get straight to her website and check her out. Thank you so much, Sabrina, for joining us today on Legacy Her Way. And thank you all for listening. If today's conversation inspired you, moved you, or made you think differently about what legacy means, you're not alone. And you're not alone in appreciating Sabrina's wise words on being courageous and brave and working through even when your own family is not as supportive as you would like for them to be. Find those mentors, find those people that will be encouraging. So be sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. And if you are feeling generous, please leave a review to help more women find inspiration for their own path to legacy. Until next time, keep building boldly, loving deeply, and living your legacy her way. Thank you.